was nothing made that was made. In him was life, and that life is the light of man. This light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not do what? Does not comprehend it. So, God doesn't speak because there's a probability of things happening. Yeah? God doesn't speak because there's a probability of things. Yeah. Right? So like God spoke concerning these elections. Right? He spoke because it seemed to be between two people. Well, he did not speak because there were two candidates. See, there were four. God could as well have said anyone apart from that one. He doesn't speak because there's a probability. It's not forecasting. The day you deliver your mind from that, the day you deliver your mind from that. Why? Because God at all times will never be on the side of anyone. God is always on his side. Men align themselves to God's side. Then now he becomes for them because they are with him. Yeah. He doesn't take sides. He shows no partiality. He shows no partiality. Yeah. So whoever aligns himself to him, then he becomes for them. Until then, he will continue making noise. So, and as I say, that's why you have a lot of battles against the prophetic. There is a statement I made. I don't know if that is when we were doing Lord Remember Mercy, or one of those meetings we were doing then, or was that during the 3 days, 24 hours? There's a statement I made. And I have forgotten the statement that I made. But I made a statement. Hallelujah. God is not on the side of anyone. God is not. God is not choosing sides. So that's not how the prophetic works. It's not, as I say, it's not forecasting. It's not forecasting. And the church is yet to apprehend that. Yeah. The church is yet to apprehend that God is not fighting for the church because we are the church, but because we are aligned. The church, if it stops being aligned, God stops fighting for it. The church, if it stops being aligned, God stops fighting for it. Yeah. So it is light that shines in the darkness. Light. There will always be oppositions against that light. I gave you the example during one of those days that in the US, one of the things that happened is that they worked very hard to ensure that the prophetic word that was given, they used every system possible against a prophetic word. Why? Because they said in 2016, President Donald Trump became the president because of the prophecies of the evangelical church and because the evangelical church went to vote. And they went to vote at the last minute. Last minute. What's the problem with the evangelical church? Because of the things that they support. Right? The evangelical church, that's why God put us not to be a religious institution, but we are literally the conscience. We literally govern the conscience of nations. And so, Every time the true church of Christ is lifted, every time people begin to align themselves to God, and by so doing, by aligning themselves to God, they get to a place where they are cooperating with God, then they begin to expel darkness. The word begins to deal with darkness. Yeah. The church never can address darkness until the church itself is in light. So it makes darkness very comfortable as long as we are not walking in the light. And that's why you find the force of compromise very critical. You want to silence the church? Compromise them. Let them live for themselves. Let them do things for themselves. Let them get away from the doctrines of righteousness and holiness. When they do that, then they have no ability to expel darkness. So they find a coexistence with darkness rather than reproving darkness, because as the Apostle Paul says in Ephesians chapter 5, that it is light that expels darkness. Light is what reproves darkness. If darkness is being rebuked, it's because light is shining. If darkness is being handled, if there's a context, as I would put it, between light and darkness, is because light is shining. That's why I say time and time again, even if a church has over 50,000 members and it is still in darkness, if the light that drives people to holiness is not in the church, then we are just another institution, social institution, as we are recognized by the government. Right? Yeah. We become a part of the interfaith council, as it is evident. There are things I told you. You remember I told you that the Lord has to show us mercy. You remember I kept on telling you that. I told you the Lord has to show us mercy. Yeah. Let me just say something. These are not the kind of things that I should say, but let me just say them. You see, the prophecies that were released concerning these elections, the unfortunate thing is that it could have gone either way. It would have gone either way. Amole venye nasema. Yeah. There are people right now, even the noise that you're seeing on social media is because there are some prophets that prophesied that another candidate would win and he has not won. And others prophesied this other candidate would win and he has won. Right? It would have gone either way. If it would have gone the opposite of how it is that it has gone now, then the other side would have been the ones that are true prophets. And this side would have been false prophets. It would have gone either. You understand? That is not prophetic. That's what I'm telling you. That is not the prophetic spirit. Now, does that mean that God cannot tell you what shall happen? He can. He can tell you this. He can tell you the other. But I kept on telling you concerning these elections that the Lord has to show us mercy. And I told you, if you remember very clearly, I told you that it is still judgment. I told you that both of them are still their judgments. It's just that one will fall in the hands of a man, the other one will fall in the hands of a. And I say that the good thing about falling in the hands of the Lord is that there we can find mercy. And then God will bring a distinction, right? He will distinguish between them that serve Him and them serve Him not, right? I gave you the example of the two women in Israel, each having a child. And because King Solomon was the expression of wisdom in that day, he gave the right child to the right mother. But otherwise, what would he have done? To bring equity, he would have split the one child into half. Right? So I told you that. Because if there is anything that made Solomon to be feared, it was that judgment. That single judgment is what made King Solomon's fame to spread and is what made him to be feared. Distinction. That's what he says in the book of Micah chapter 3. He says, I will put a distinction between them that serve me and them that serve me not. And I kept on telling you